feel like especially right now, in the midst of the global pandemic, the brands that are excelling are the brands that we can trust,
That's
that are
correct.
very credible. They say something, they have a compelling brand promise, and now they're following through on it with authenticity. Because there was a lot of brand promises made before the global pandemic that have now been compromised. And, let's give our brands a break. I mean, who could have foreseen the impact that this would have? But there are some companies that have gone to incredible lengths to maintain the transparency and consistency of their brand promise, even in the wake of global crisis. And those are the brands that are going to come out of this where people are like, wow, we can trust this organization to follow through.
We have the pleasure of welcoming Nate Brown to our interview series. I'm Rahul Panika from the Engati team. And let's just begin with a quick introduction of what Engati is. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform across 14 channels with 25,000 bots created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. We run the Engati blog and the video channel, which receives upwards of 300,000 visitors annually. And now for our guest, Nate is the co-founder of CX Accelerator and CEO of Officium Labs. Nate loves all things customer. His sweet spot is helping employees to understand the customer journey and how they play a role in improving it. He is well versed in a variety of CX disciplines, including journey mapping, survey process and analysis, the voice of customer programs, employee engagement, and many more. We are so thrilled to have you on the show, Nate Brown. Welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I've been very excited for this interview. Thank you for having me.
All right. So let's just jump right away to the first question. So Nate, what are the key tenets do you think you focus on for designing and advising on customer experience?
Yeah. I mean, customer experience is a very complicated entity in terms of it's an end-to-end management of the customer's holistic journey. But there are tenets in there that I think make a lot of sense. And if you look at the CX primer on cxaccelerator.com, I've got those four laid out there. And I really think the first one is that strategy and leadership. You've got to have intentional ownership around the customer experience function. You've got to have that CX change coalition that is cross-functional in nature so that people can know and be excited for and understand what customer experience means inside of your organization specifically. And then you get to do the voice of customer engine. So it's building out the insights that are going to make you more intelligent as you continue to drive that CX strategy forward. It's getting a baseline of CX data in terms of the thoughts and perceptions that your customers have currently, and then isolating those big returns on investments that you can make that are going to make the life of that customer better over time and be able to track and measure those. And then you get into the experience engineering tenet. This is where you're making that experience better through change management, through intelligent project management, and mobilizing the organization towards a common goal and united in terms of making that customer's life better and doing it in a way that is both helpful and sustainable for those that are involved and participating. And then last but not least, the fourth tenet is to anchor all this inside of the employee experience. It is impossible to focus on the customers over here and create an experience for them without us first designing something for our employees that we can be proud of and that they can then mirror to their customers. So everything that we're doing in the customer experience bucket, we're doing with the same level of intentionality, if not more, for our own employees. So those would be the four tenets.
That's correct. I think that's a wonderful point there that, if your employees are happy, they're like ultimately going to make their customers happy. That's amazing. All right. Moving on to the next one. What are the key technologies you see like on the horizon for customer experience management?
Yeah, I've been amazed in the voice of customer category, the improvement of the technologies that we have now that give us capabilities to do like automated customer sentiment. We've always struggled to take things like open text and a recorded call and a social media post and to be able to in an unbiased way, be able to say, all right, here's the thoughts and opinions of this customer and here's how we're going to rate customer sentiment based on this interaction. Well, AI is bringing that to us. The automation capabilities with taking those insights and being able to do the text analytics, the voice analytics, and more, to be able to process that information and accelerate our ability to learn from the insights that we're gathering from our customers. That's the most exciting thing to me.
Yeah. I think AI is changing the game like entirely when it comes to customer experience, and with the sentiment analysis, like you mentioned, and like that's some great stuff going on out there. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. So how can the incorporation of automation and like conversational intelligence or like chatbots help with like customer engagement? Such.
Yeah. I mean, I think that customers are wanting interactions to happen in real time. And it's almost impossible to make that real time interaction happen with a live agent
Right.
based on different burst capacity and different volume needs that are there and situations that will arise. If people are going to get immediate support for more transactional level things, it's going to have to happen through intelligent conversational AI. And it's been frustrating for me as a consumer with the first generation of bots that we've tried to use. I've found myself on multiple occasions screaming at a bot to get smarter faster. But it does feel like to me, as we focus on natural language processing, as we focus on conversational AI, that it is getting better and it is becoming more seamless in terms of I'm going to be more willing to interface with a good bot if I notice that the potential is there for my problem to be resolved. I'm going to give it a shot.
All right, so moving like you mentioned about like conversational intelligence and AI into customer service, but at the same time, you know, a lot of people are really skeptical of the machine, and like there are trust issues, and so how ready for a change do you think the customer service industry is, and like what role do you think AI plays in bringing about that change?
Yeah, I think AI has a huge role to play. I mean, there's no doubt that the customer service and the customer experience space is transforming at the speed of light. I mean, it's amazing how different the space looks, even in the 5 to 7 years that I've been in it. It's pretty wild to see the transformation that has taken place. I mean, in terms of the role that AI is going to play, I mean that transactional volume, that immediate need volume, is going to continue to be handled through improved self-service capabilities and improved conversational bot and AI capabilities. It's going to leave us in terms of our readiness. There are going to be times where there's something sensitive. There's something creative where we don't know exactly the question we need to ask yet. We just want to talk through it with somebody and get thoughts and opinions and perspectives, not necessarily a knowledge base related answer. And that's still going to require us to be able to have access to people. So brands are going to have to make a decision in terms of what's the type of interaction that we want to be able to have with our customers. Do we want to just have the transactional capability where they can get information very quickly, very effectively? That'll be automated. And there's a time and a place for that. But then brands need to think about, is there a time and a place too where somebody needs to be able to have a good old fashioned conversation with a person to work through a complicated problem or to be able to brainstorm on a creative solution. And there needs to be both. And I think if brands offer both, if they're transparent in terms of guiding customers to the best resolution path, as the effortless experience would say, then all of us are going to be more adept and more open to utilizing the technologies that are put in front of us. When it's frustrating and when we're resistant is when we know we're not going to be able to solve a problem using a self-service capability bot. And we want to get to a person, and yet we are restricted and gated from being able to achieve that connection. That's when things get frustrating. So let the customers choose their own adventure to some degree, guide them to the best resolution path based on the type of issue that they're having, and people are going to be able to interface with you better.
Right. So what you're trying to say is that you can't like have like a set, a set border towards how you want to like approach your customers. You need to make it free flowing.
Exactly. I mean, we like to force customers down a funnel.
Right.
All right, you're coming into our IVR. All right, you're coming into our self-service capabilities. If you're going to make us, we might let you talk to somebody if you jump through all these hoops. And that's incredibly frustrating because customers are smart. They know what they need. They know what they want. Let's guide them to the best resolution path, but not force them to jump through hoops to get there.
That's correct. All right. Wonderful. So, do you think technology can be an agent's best friend rather than her worst enemy? What do you think about technology helping agents perform better rather than stealing their jobs?
Yeah, I mean, as an agent who worked in that frontline agent role for 7 years, uh, it's incredibly disabling to not have the information that you need to be able to do your job. All of us want to serve the customer well and to serve them quickly. But if you're having to walk around the building or wait for 2 days to get basic information that you need to close the loop with a customer, it's incredibly frustrating and it leads to a lot of burnout on behalf of the agent. So the biggest opportunity that I see for effective collaboration here is for the agent to have immediately access to well curated data to be able to resolve the customer's issue much, much, much faster.
Right. Right. All right. So, Nate, you've been working in this industry for like a long time now. So you must have also seen that the customer expectations have like changed throughout the years, right? So,
Yeah.
and especially with companies like Amazon, like phenomenal customer service. I mean, the expectations are rising. So, how do companies keep up with that change?
That's a great question. I mean, you're going to have to pick your battles in a lot of ways. I mean, you cannot be all things to all men, as I think Paul would say. You've got to think about where can I excel? Where can I create a very good and very consistent customer experience? It doesn't have to be mind-blowing all the time. And Shep Hyken has a lot of good material on this. You don't have to roll out the red carpet every time for the customer. What they do want is a good, consistent experience. So think about where you can excel, where you can make a difference. I had a mentor and a coach early in my career tell me, it's like, you need to have the laser focus of an Olympic athlete. Because at that time I was trying to be a jack of all trades, learn everything, do everything, be able to do everything for the customer, from coding to every form of customer service to implementation. It was impossible to be able to be good at all these things. And a brand is generally going to be the same way. There's something that makes us very unique, and there's some niche of customers that we're trying to serve really well. Let's be intentional about that. Let's be specific about that and be the Amazon in that area. But we can't be Amazon to everybody all the time on every channel. Think about what channels you should offer where you can create that good and consistent experience. Think about the type of interaction your customers want to have and reverse engineer it from there and continue to improve it using your voice of customer engine.
That's wonderful. In fact, like we have an episode with Shep Hyken, like you mentioned, also like, and those of y'all, the viewers who haven't checked it, go check it out. It's amazing. So yeah, I mean, I relate to what you're saying. Like, what you're trying to say is like develop your own flavor and kind of master that one thing and be the best at it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You can't be excellent in every support channel.
That's correct.
So think about what your customers truly need and where you can excel, where you can create that good, consistent experience and double down, as you said.
Right. All right. So, Nate, you've mentioned on your website, right, CX Accelerator, that customer experience work is all about perceptions. So what steps are companies taking to create positive impressions?
Yeah, there's a lot of good material on this lately. I love what James Dotkins and Mary Drummond has been saying in this area around what makes it worthwhile for a customer to make a buying decision. How can we dive in and really understand the expectations that a customer has so that we can properly manage those throughout the experience? Historically speaking, we've just kind of rolled it out there in terms of here's what we do. Come and get it if you want it. If not, that's fine too. And now in this hyper competitive environment where customer experience is king, we're having to do something better. We're having to be much more intentional about understanding what our customers truly want and going through the process of understanding those personas, mapping out that experience, and designing something exceptional for them. It looks very different for us as CX professionals in terms of the expectations that are out there and how we can properly manage those perceptions. It used to be that we would put out a brand promise on a website. So here's what we are, here's what we do. And people would essentially believe that. Well, now, no, I mean, your brand promise on a website means nothing. What your brand promise is what one customer says to another. It's the reality that you create through the actual customer experience. We don't have the power to define ourselves anymore. All that power is shifted to the customer. And so now their perception is very much our reality. As Kate Z said years ago, she was a prophet ahead of her time with that quote of the idea that our reality would become the customer's perception. That is happening on steroids. And it requires us to understand our customers better than ever before and to manage those expectations and perceptions better than we've ever before.
Right. So all the fake packaging won't work anymore.
Yeah. No, I mean, we don't get to just put out on a website what we are and people are going to consume that. Got to prove it.
Yeah. It's about, yeah. I mean, even today, like it has shifted to more of like, like a word of mouth kind of a situation where people are actually
no doubt.
with you.
I feel like especially right now, in the midst of the global pandemic, the brands that are excelling are the brands that we can trust, that are very credible. They say something, they have a compelling brand promise, and now they're following through on it with authenticity. Because there was a lot of brand promises made before the global pandemic that have now been compromised. And, let's give our brands a break. I mean, who could have foreseen the impact that this would have? But there are some companies that have gone to incredible lengths to maintain the transparency and consistency of their brand promise, even in the wake of global crisis. And those are the brands that are going to come out of this where people are like, wow, we can trust this organization to follow through.
Yeah. I think the service speaks now. Like that's how it is. Are there any other sound bites that you would like our viewers to, you want to leave our viewers with?
No, I just wanted to mention Officium Labs. Hop on over. One thing I failed to mention, another huge transformation in the customer service space is around the gig economy and the fact that with the new tools and technologies that we have, we can tap into a new generation of customer service professionals that are working anywhere in the world. They're no longer bound by geography and different things. So it's been really exciting being on the front lines of Officium Labs and being a part of that transformation as well. So hop on over there and check us out. And then would also love for you to join CX Accelerator. Thank you so much for having me today.
That's amazing. That was Nate Brown, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with another episode of Engati Engage with another expert in the game. So stay tuned for that.